welcome to a new thing live. I'm so glad that you're here today. Thank you guys for joining. Are we excited to be here or what?
So excited.
So I want to introduce to you Kyree McField. I'm so thrilled to have her here on the show tonight. Now, the interesting thing about Kyree is she's our special guest, but she's also a part of our team. She helps us create segments, but you know, she's a teacher by day. She's pursuing acting. And she's a social media influencer. There's so many things about Kyree. She's an incredible writer, very talented and gifted. Just all of the things, the content creating, all of the things. So we just wanted to bring her on. And, you know, this week is actually International Teachers Month or Education month or day, really, on the 24th, right?
Yeah.
So we thought, what better week to bring her on than just to bring our very special and our favorite teacher on our show. Yes, that's you. Yeah, and I love that she's doing the Vanna White thing here. Oh my goodness, what did we do, Jesus? What did we do? So, Kyree, you know, just want to talk about a few things. Like right now we're already in January, and just the other day we were talking on the phone and we're like, we cannot believe that it is almost the end of January, right? So we just launched this new year 2023 and everybody's all gung-ho about the do's and don'ts, and I'm gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that, I'm gonna reach for this habit. You know, what has this year been like for you? I want to talk just about a lot of things that we felt like we could talk about today. What has that been like for you so far to be a week away from going into February, having just launched the new year? Oh my goodness.
You know, funny, I watched this video earlier today that was this woman who was talking about how she hasn't read a book yet, even though she wanted to read a couple books before the end of the year, but she said, as long as I read one, it's already more than what she read last year. So
there we go.
She's got 11 more months.
I love it. I love it.
Perspective. Perspective.
Yes.
But for me, you know, so far this year has just been so great.
Yes.
I've been really trying to kind of hone it down into things that are a lot more practical.
Yeah.
I mean, we try to, you know, run the race right at the beginning, and then we get burnt out.
Yeah.
And we're like, no. What does it matter anyway?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I really wanted to do things a lot more practical this year just made sense, and they just really flowed into, you know what? Yeah, I do need to do this.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things is maintaining cleanliness in my house.
Yeah, good.
But also creating systems that make sense.
Yeah.
You know, my schedule's changed this year, so I'm not working my normal schedules anymore. Okay. So I'm coming home a lot more tired, you know, a lot more like I'm
a little later.
A lot later. So having to implement and put in certain ways for me to maintain that cleanliness for this year.
Sure.
That makes sense for a working teacher or a working 9-to-5 person. So that's just one of the habits. And
I think that's awesome because, you know, a lot of times, like what you're saying, a lot of people will right out of the gate want to jump in doing something. Yeah. And it might be something that they've never done before. It might be something that they've seen other people do and then they want to do, but they really don't even know how to go about starting to get it done. So they're excited. They maybe get all the things, but still don't know how to apply just that first step of them physically doing it. And then they get discouraged.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. And, you know, something else is what, like going on to what you said too, some people, they look at what other people have done and they do that when you were never supposed to do what they did.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm supposed to have a clean home, but I can't do it the way that this person's doing it. I have to find a way that works for me.
Yeah, maybe they're home all day, you know, with their kids, and maybe they do have the ability to put their kids down for a nap or take them to school, and then, but like you said, you're working.
Right.
So you come home 6 o'clock, tired, and then what do you gotta cook dinner, whatever, all the other things that you're already involved in.
Right.
So I think that's so good just to have that clear perspective. If that's you and you're watching, just have some grace on yourself and say, you know what, I do want to do this X, Y, and Z, but let's have some grace. And what are some just practical things that you can apply to your own life to your own time frame.
Right, some realistic goals.
Yeah, I
that
love that.
You can meet.
I love that.
And then don't beat yourself up if
Yeah.
you don't meet them just yet.
Yeah, we're excited.
It's still January.
It's still January. Yeah, we're excited. It was one of the things we really felt strongly about sharing today was, you know, I've just been doing a lot of reading and seeing that some people are really getting discouraged because they're not meeting the things that they're like, we're going to do this year, we're going to do this year. And all of a sudden it's like, well, we didn't do it. We're not going to do it. We haven't done it. So rather than just quitting and throwing in the towel, really, and you came up with even today's title, like today could be your day one again. It's our whole idea of, you know, today, my pastor used to say, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Even if that was 5 minutes ago and you blew it, then okay, it's a clean slate right now. Help me to start this right now. What are some practical things? Maybe there's only 3 things you need to do. Maybe you don't need to clean your house every day. Maybe it's every other. You have to just really think about your lifestyle and what your lifestyle lends itself to in terms of hours and time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I just read also too this morning that today is Blue Monday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, how are we already starting off the year?
Blue.
Like, blue.
Yeah, that's right. We're wearing
sad.
pink.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we're wearing pinks. Yeah, we got, yeah. We're, speaking of blue, we are against Blue Monday, but you know, one of the things is, you know, some of us started fasting with Pastor Tammy Hodson-Pillar, and she had written this book, Fasting for Miracles. And so we just kicked that off on Saturday, 21 days. You know, and some people might already feel like, oh my goodness, I fell off the bandwagon. Just get back up and start again today. Maybe you only do it for 3 out of the 21, but stop beating yourself up. We're saying, we're releasing you and saying, you know what? Be kind to yourself, be gracious to yourself, be good to yourself, and say, you know what? Good for me. Good job. I did it for 3 days.
3.
Right?
3. That's more than other people.
That's right. Yeah, and that's more than it had you not decided to do it. You know, so just, you know, one of the things, this kind of reminded me of the whole idea of some people saying, gosh, I really wanted to do the 21-day fast, and I've already fallen off the wagon. So anyway, we just wanted to kind of come out the gate. You know, we love talking about like the holidays and national days. And so really, being that it is, you know, International Teachers Day coming up this week, we wanted to have Kyree on here and just talk to you about like, what has your year looked like so far? I know for some of us, people have already experienced loss. You know, there's some, you know, every day there's just terrible things that are happening in the world. And that's why we want to be here for you. We want to be a people that bring you hope and joy and encouragement and say, we believe in you. We are your cheerleaders. We are here to pray for you. If you have any prayer requests, you know, email us. We're not just here to talk and chat and then be done. No, we really want to invest in your life even more than what is happening now. So be sure to send us those prayer requests. So now, you know, kind of moving in the same vein of things, you know, you are teaching every day, but you also have some things that God's put in your heart that are creative. And I know there's some things that you've launched even in your own personal life, like saying, okay, I'm going to start exercising again and doing it in a practical way. So talk to us a little bit about some of those things that you determined in your heart that need to happen this year. And how are you going about the juggle between that and everything else that you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm sure you guys have heard the phrase of sick and tired of being sick and tired, and that's basically what happened.
It's been around a long time.
I just was just so over the feeling of the way that I felt, you know, and I decided to sign up for this discipleship class at my church. It's called OHL, Operation Healthy Lives.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be 100% with you guys. I just want to be real and raw. I almost didn't sign up because I was afraid of running. There's just always been this fear of running, a fear of people watching me run.
The actual exercise running.
The actual exercise of me running, physically running. I used to run a lot when I was a kid, and something just happened where I don't like it. And it's a fear. And it almost stopped me from actually going to the class. That was actually the only thing, not the money. Nothing else. It was that. But you know what? I had to overcome that fear because I knew that if I didn't change, nothing was going to change.
I think that's so good. I love that you did that because a lot of times fear will hold people back especially when it's fear of what will I look like? What will people think of me? Even though you may not even be, because to me, you're not a self-centered person. You're very others focused, but still, there is still that part of you that's like, but I don't want to put myself out there for people to see what I'm going to look like when I run or these things. So I'm so proud of you for doing that. It takes a lot of courage.
It does. Yeah. It does. And kind of segueing into, the other topic you wanted me to talk about too, being an actress and being a teacher. I was also, afraid to tell people I wanted to act. And that was something I had to go, no, that is what I've been called to do. And, people have questions and we're like, well, you're teaching. Like, are you going to act? Are you this? Yeah. Aren't
you a teacher?
And I'm always going to be a teacher.
Yes.
Those are the talents that God has given to me.
Right.
God has given
love that.
To teach.
Yes.
But that's not where he called me.
I love that. Yeah. So good. One of the things I appreciate about what you're sharing is sometimes people will ask me like, well, what are you called to do? Because I am an ordained minister and I have been in ministry and I can teach the word and I can lead worship. And it's like, those are parts of me, but there are other parts, the writing part of me, the author, the editor-in-chief. And it's like, I had to really think about it. And when I realized I'm not just called to do one thing, there are many levels and facets to me, right? And even this is one of them, like just loving to talk and communicate on camera. I love just sharing my heart and encouraging you to say, come on, you can do it. You can do it. What's that thing that God's put in your heart? What's that new thing you're supposed to be doing? Or just to encourage people to say, come on, let's get up and we can do this together. Right. So many facets. And we look at other people's lives and you can say, oh my goodness, they have this, they have that. They're doing all these different things because they're not tied into that one thing. Right. So I love that you're sharing that. Teacher, actress, creative, and then you have all these other gifts that God's given you as well. Yeah.
And kind of going a little further in what you had said before about this other person is doing this. We were not created to walk the same path.
Absolutely.
God created all different paths. Yes. So you might be a construction worker right now, but you've been called to play the violin. If that's what God called you to do, he's going to see you do that.
That's right.
We all have different paths.
And you can do them all at the same time even. Right? And that's the thing. It's like I tell people, don't box yourself in. Like, what are all the things you want to do? Do you want to do a blog? Do you want to do photography? Do you want to open up a laundromat? Do you want to open up an agriculture? Do you want to be a painter? Do you want to be a manicure? Like all these things. Do you want to do hair and launch a blog? Or do you know what I'm saying? There's all of these things. And sometimes we put ourselves in this little box. We do. And it is about individuality. Every one of us is called to do our own thing. Yeah. Even if it's similar. Not one person's thing will be alike. Right. I had that very conversation with someone in here on A New Thing Live, Monique Barrios. We had that same conversation that even, I remember talking to her just saying, even all of our fingerprints are different. They are. Even for twins, identical twins are still different. Because each of us has something so unique about each of us. So I love that. So that's exciting. Yeah. So what are some of the fun things as a teacher that you have observed about kids or parents or fellow teachers? You don't have to give names, but we want to know.
Okay. Well, where do I start?
Yes, girl. Just give us the deets.
Well, one thing I will say, being a teacher, all teachers, and I'm sure any teacher can attest to this, we have our forte, our age forte, our group of kids that we just vibe with. That's just those are my kids. I love 2-year-olds. 2-year-olds are fun. No. 3-year-olds are fun, but those are not my age group. My age group is 4 and 5. Okay. Just something about those babies, their thought process, you could still kind of mold them, but they're growing into their own individual person with individual personalities. And I love even just the relationships I feel are a little different with the parents because they're kind of leaning to you to help with that personality. And you're kind of looking at them like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. I like spice.
Yeah.
I do really like spicy kids. I think spicy kids make the world go round. They're entertaining, they're fun, they're funny. And we're all a little spicy sometimes.
Yes.
So I think spicy kids are great.
Yeah.
But I, being a teacher, especially during the pandemic, it really has, things have really changed in my methods of teaching. Before it was about getting certain things done to meet certain requirements. Yeah. Which it's still there. Sure. But there's now a much more compassionate level attached to that. No. A more empathy level attached to it. I can't tell you how hard it was to watch my babies through the screen, and they just ask me, when am I going to be in school? When am I going to see you again? And I'm like, I just want to hold you. Like, I just want to cuddle with you. Like, and that's actually what we did when we finally came back. I mean, my kids weren't with me anymore, but when they finally came back, I just had to have a couple of days of let's just play. And let me play with you. Like, I just want to be with you because you've been stuck at home.
Looking at the screen.
Yeah,
that's had to have been so difficult.
It is. Yeah. It's difficult. It's difficult. And also something I want to add to is parents that are watching, please know, we know it's been difficult. Yeah. Like, we understand. We are just as frustrated as you guys can be and are because of the whole situation.
Sure. But, we're on the other side now.
We are.
Yeah.
It's getting better.
Yes. Yes. So one of the things, just in regards to the individuality in students is, and I have been a professor at our denomination's Bible college for a couple of years. I was an adjunct professor and I loved it. I loved my students. But, it's so important, I think, as a teacher and somebody who's educating others to understand that everyone has a different learning process because we're all made up different. And we know this, some of us need to learn by writing. Some of us need to learn by hearing. Some of us need to learn by doing or by watching. Some people are just geniuses and they just hear and got it done, Everybody learns different because everybody's giftings are different. Yeah. So talk to me a little about, what are some of the ways that we as mentors, teachers, parents can learn to support our kids without putting the demands that we see maybe other kids flourishing in this one area, maybe math. One of my best friends, for example, her daughter, math was very hard for her, very hard. Yet this girl was 12 years old and was the lead in Annie, filled up a theater of 500 plus people, maybe 1,000, had all her blocking, her lines, her singing, a live Cyndi, everything, killed it. Had difficult time even with arithmetic, and it's I would get frustrated even hearing the teachers what they would be sharing to my best friend about her daughter. And I'm like, do they not see that how brilliant and bright she is? Right. Talk to us a little bit about that. And we don't have a whole lot of time, but I do think it's worth addressing today while we have teacher Kyree with us on I won't call you that, but
I think you kind of said it in what you were saying. I think it's important for us to remember that each student is individual. And that we learn in different ways. And whereas, when we are doing our observations and assessing, the main levels, they are all across the board. However, how they reach them doesn't have to be the same. There are children that are more creative. There are more children that are more black and white. I'm very visual, so I learn more on give me something to hold and then let me count it.
Gotcha.
Some children don't do that. Some children are textbook. They will like,
Yeah.
let me look at paper and let me read it this way. So just, some ways to, help if you're, if you have a baby at home that, maybe struggling in one area but is flourishing in another,
Mhm.
see how you can mirror the two. A lot of subjects can be mirrored.
That's good.
Using the example of your best friend's daughter,
Yeah.
she is killing it in theater,
Mhm.
right? So maybe, with her in math, maybe let her add some playbooks, because that's pretty interesting.
Okay.
We love watching and looking at playbooks. Let me add these playbooks together, you know? Like putting what she loves, what he loves, and then adding that to something that might be something that they're struggling with.
Good.
Another thing too is sometimes we just need to take a step back and we need to take a look at the bigger picture. There might just be something that we're not seeing.
Sure, that's good.
Like maybe the way that they're learning their math is completely different from the way that they're learning their lines. And we just need to take a step back and go, okay, no, they're not learning the same way I learned this, but let me see how they learn this.
Yeah.
Because again, they're individual students.
Yes, that's so good. I love that. Well, is there anything else that you want to speak into regarding education? And then I wanted to maybe a couple more things to talk about as we close out this episode. But is there anything else that you wanted to talk about regarding education?
Yes. Yeah. So if you're ever in a situation where you are having to, keep your babies home, or if you're just looking for, extra things to do with your babies, even when, on the weekends, there's so many resources out there. There's so many resources. Go to the library. The library is always having fun activities for kids to do. The museums, go to a museum. We have Facebook and Facebook groups. Look up a Facebook group of a mom group near you, a dad group near you. Meet up with each other at the aquarium. Do a fun little aquarium field trip together.
I love that, Kyree.
There's so many fun things to do. If you take your children to preschool, look at that preschool organization. I can guarantee you they've got to have a resource page for what to do when they're on the weekend and you still want to help them with their math or help them with their spelling.
Yes.
Resources.
They're there. They're there. And along those lines, thank you so much for sharing that. Along those same lines, somebody like yourself or like me, for instance, we have these things that we've been doing career-wise. I've been in the ministry all of these years. That's what my schooling was my graduate school and undergrad were seminary ministry. You got to have this pull for media. And it's like, what do you do when you have these desires and like what you're saying and these dreams, but like what you're saying, there are resources out there. For example, for those of you women or men, but women specifically, if you if you feel this call to be involved in the entertainment industry, there's Christian Women in Media Association, there's Influence Women Hollywood, Influence Women OC, we just launched the OC chapter, Influence Women Atlanta, Nashville, there are the Hollywood Prayer Network. I'm just talking specifically only about media. For those maybe that are believers and wanting to get involved, there are things where it'll pull you in and you can be a part of wonderful discussions, networking. I like to call it net weaving because it's interweaving plus networking, and you're interweaving a life with another life, with your life. And you're talking about some of the things that are in your heart, some of the projects that you want to do that you feel you can share in a safe space. Because I've had the ones that I've shared in ain't so safe space, and they both ended up on television within a year from the time that I shared it. So making sure that you're in a safe space, and this was years ago, but there are things out there, and there are maybe fashion, and maybe I want to do a little bit of a blog. Well, then what's out there fashion week wise? I know we're excited. I'm helping to produce Joanna Hernandez Glaudy, Glaudy by Joanna Hernandez, her Los Angeles Fashion Week show in Beverly Hills in March. So there's different things that you can still look and be a part of. Look on Eventbrite, meetup.com, and then prayerfully say, what can I be a part of? What can I be a part of? So anything else? I did want to kind of share some of the fun little things before we say goodbye. But teacher Kyree was sharing some of the fun things that she has going on. So we want to make sure that we just kind of take a look, and that we also just honor you, Kyree, because we know that teaching can be difficult. You know, here's a fun picture of you. You talked about the Zoom, and I feel like a couple of those might be where you were doing some cuteness on Zoom with your kids.
Yeah, we were counting lightsabers. It was Star Wars Day.
Oh my goodness. I want teacher Kyree to be my teacher. And then here, I know you also have a heart for like diversity and just really addressing and advocating that in regards to education. So
yep, that's what that middle picture is. I was teaching our other teachers an activity they could do with diversity and inclusion.
Okay.
So yeah,
I love that. That's so good. And then you also happened to win an award.
I did.
What? Talk to us about that award and congratulations.
Yes, it was the Rising Star Award for my company.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just an honor anyway, just to be acknowledged for all the work that you do.
Yeah.
To all you teachers out there, you're rising stars.
You are
too.
rising stars.
Yeah.
Every one of you are heroes. You are our heroes.
Unsung.
The
Yeah,
unsung.
sure.
I love that. Well, and then speaking of the Joanna Hernandez, I did want, for those of you that do love fashion as well, her show is in March and it's on the 25th, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I know you're going to be there.
Yes. Can I tell you something fun?
Yes.
Your model in that picture is one of my parents.
What?
Yes.
That is so crazy. I love it. Small world.
Very
Small world. Oh my goodness. I love that. We'll have to talk a little bit about that after for time's sake. And then for those of you that were asking and inquiring, here you go. Once again, Fasting for Miracles by Pastor Tammy Hotson-Pillar. She has every day she has a daily video that she's doing in the morning regarding fasting, and it's on our website. So visit a newthinglive.com website so that you can get some more information on that. Let me see if we can pull that up real quick. There we go. Yeah, visit our website and that'll give you information on any of the things that we talked about. You can also visit our website as well regarding Joanna's tickets, or you can go on directly on gloudycollection.com and do that as well. Of course, if you want to order Pastor Tammy's book, Amazon, or you can just visit TommyHotsonPillar.com. But again, you can do it directly through A New Thing Live. And last but not least, you guys, if you have a prayer request, please email us. We don't want you to ever feel like you are alone. You are not alone. You are not alone. No, the Lord promises, I will never leave you nor forsake you. And we are here in your corner, not just Kyree and I, but our entire team. And when those prayer requests come through, we pray. We pray when they come through. So I just want you to know that you guys are not alone. Kyree, we loved having you. So much fun. You always bring such color and love and light to our show, both in front of and behind the scenes. And so is there anything you want to say before we say goodbye to our viewers?
No more Blue Mondays.
No more. We're done with the Blue Mondays. Let your Blue Monday be done. We're calling it color and life and pink, the blush and all those pretty things, right? Okay, you guys. So set your alarm for next week. We have another wonderful time, but I'm just so glad that we got to come and talk a little bit about education, and just to kind of give you guys, I almost felt like it was just that midweek, that hump day kind of episode. Yeah. Like, come on, y'all can do this. Y'all can do this. And if you messed up or the first, 23 days, just start right now. Make whatever you need to do tonight to get ready for tomorrow. Maybe getting your clothes out early, getting your water ready, getting your food ready, doing all your chopping, whatever you need to do, you can start fresh today. So today is your day one, and we love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. And Roku world, we love you. YouTube, Facebook, everybody. We're so, so blessed to have you guys in our lives. And thank you for just taking time out of your day to chime in with the New Thing Live. We really do love you, and we pray for you. We wish you a wonderful, safe week. Love the ones that you're with. I don't like to say it, but the reality is we're not promised tomorrow. So love the ones that you're with right now and forgive people. Let's move on and let's link arms together and let's have a beautiful, beautiful year of 2023 in unity and in love. In Jesus' name. Have a great week, you guys, and we'll see you next week on A New Thing Live.